That's a really good question.
I thought about wearing it, bling.
Wrestling's pretty good. Thank you. Anyone else?
You roll with the punches.
No, thank you.
I love to hit.
Frank Castle is in my bones. Frank Castle is in my bones.
Like, you know what? I can't look at this.
And the things that I saw in him and that he saw in me too.
To take on the role of being a creative director for a brand, like what kind of things are you going to be doing exactly, and how much of that do you see kind of taking up your schedule day to day?
It's a new role, and with Clean Cause, I'm just excited about the overall mission. I think that for me, anything that I'm passionate about, anything that I understand on a personal level, I'm going to put my all into it. And the mission at Clean Cause is very personal and near and dear to my heart. It says right on the can, 50% of profits go to people that are struggling with the disease of addiction and helping them get into treatment. And that has been right away at the very beginning of our first quote unquote pitch to get me involved. I was sold within the first 2 minutes, and that doesn't happen with me very often. I align with it. Being in recovery, the rooms of recovery and being able to access a treatment facility, those are the foundational pieces of what saved my life and gave me a career. If it wasn't for my dad stopping me when I was at rock bottom and getting me into a treatment facility, in that first surrender that I had, where I knew that I couldn't do it on my own anymore. If it wasn't for that moment, I wouldn't be here today. And I absolutely, if for some reason I would be in active addiction, and I would not have ever had an opportunity to share my art with the world. The disease was what I was trapped. I couldn't get out. And to know that Clean Cause, his mission is to help people that are in that same position that might not have the financial resources to go to a 28-day inpatient treatment facility. That is a solution to this growing epidemic of a problem that we have right now in America around the disease of addiction.
You were really honest recently on Dax Shepard's podcast, talking about how you relapsed during the pandemic. How tough is it when you're a well-known person, because a lot of experts say relapsing is obviously part of recovery. Like it does happen, and you just kind of got to stay with your support system. But how tough is it when you're famous, and when it does happen, it'll be all over Twitter? Does that add to the anxiety of the whole situation, or have you found ways to cope with that?
I think when I went on Dax, it's interesting because I wasn't going to tell him that that I relapsed. I think that there is that thing when you do relapse. When I've relapsed in the past, it's like immediately, like, I don't want to tell anybody. Like, I'll get back into the program. I'll start working my steps again. I know why I fell off. I got this. And it got to a certain point where I'm like, why am I not sharing my truth? Like, this life is very short. Best case scenario, I get another 40, 50 years on this earth and I'm gone. What am I trying to protect? Who am I hiding my truth from? What is more important is that people are speaking openly and honestly about their struggles, not just their triumphs, not just their highlight reel on their Instagram feed or Twitter. What are they actually struggling with? How can you be open and honest and share your experience? Because when people do that, there's power. When people do that, the disease of addiction loses its stigma. The guilt and shame dissipates. And I heard Dax speak about relapsing, and he told the truth. And he had 13 years or something like that, 16 years, I forget what it was, but double-digit recovery, and relapsed, and went on his show and told the truth. And I I'm certain that he didn't want to do that. But when you're in the light, there is no choice but to continue down the path. And Dax being open about his relapse gave me inspiration to be open about mine. And hopefully my story helps somebody else. And that's how we fight the disease of addiction, is just by sharing who we are and what we're going through.